Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Kate Harper of the 61st District in Montgomery County. As your representative and a fellow citizen of Montgomery County, I know that preserving open space and conserving our natural resources are critically important to many of you. That's why I'm so pleased today to highlight the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, DCNR, works toward the goals of conservation and improving access to our outdoor recreational opportunities, including maintaining Pennsylvania's nationally recognized state park system and state forests. Joining me today to share more details about this is Ellen Ferretti. She is the Secretary of DCNR. Secretary Ferretti, welcome to the program.
Pleasure to be here, thank you.
It's always nice to talk about open space and parks, but particularly in the fall in Pennsylvania. So today we're going to talk about what you're responsible for, acres and acres of state parks and state forests. But before we start, I know the viewers want to know a little bit about you. How did you get to be the Secretary of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources? Where'd you come from? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? Can you tell us?
Sure. I grew up in northeastern Pennsylvania in Luzerne County. And the truth is, I grew up in what would be considered sort of an old mining town. The houses were close together, not a lot of open space. But my parents would take us up to the state parks, Tobyhanna and Gouldsboro near the Poconos. And that's where I learned about the great outdoors. So my early learning of the outdoors obviously came from that venue. And they were pretty simple back then compared to what they are now, but still we had the lakes, we had the seesaws, the swings, and it was absolutely wonderful. I eventually, because of my love of the outdoors and the environment, got a degree in environmental science from Wilkes College. And
Wilkes is in Reading?
Wilkes is in Luzerne County, in Wilkes-Barre.
Wilkes-Barre.
In Wilkes-Barre, yeah. It was actually an offshoot of Bucknell many, many years ago. Took some time off to raise my children, and then when I got back into the field, I was actually doing consulting, environmental consulting, working on contaminated sites. When I moved back, we had moved away. When I moved back to Wilkes-Barre, I got involved with Pennsylvania Environmental Council.
Right.
And
good group.
Good group, right? And that time the brownfield legislation was a real big thing. I ended up working there eventually. Absolutely loved my time at PEC. And that's where I really got into DCNR type matters. So water trails, kayaking on the rivers, open space preservation or conservation. I really gained a love of that. So when there was an opportunity, I applied to a position at DCNR and was lucky enough to get it.
So Governor Corbett appointed you and the Senate confirmed.
Yes.
And so I guess you went from working on blighted sites, which is what a brownfield is, to working with a lot of pristine and beautiful places.
Yes, yes.
Nice change?
Very nice change. You know, at the end of the day, you think what will matter when I'm done. And the lands that we have conserved will matter. And they'll be there for my children and my children's children and all of our children's children. They're open, you know, our parks and forests are open for the public to enjoy. That is a very, very heartwarming thought.
Right, I agree with you on that. And I think many of our viewers would be surprised at how much land Pennsylvania actually has. So can you tell us about the parks and the forests?
Yes, we have 120 state parks. There is generally a state park within 25 miles of every Pennsylvanian. We have about 2.5 million acres of state forest, and a lot of them are the more primitive adventures. So some people like the more primitive hiking in state forests, some people go driving. And our state parks, every single one of them has a personality, which is absolutely wonderful. We have urban parks, we have rural parks, we have parks, I think of one out west, McConnell's Mill. It's built around a little mill, and it's a beautiful little gorge. What we have is absolutely fabulous, so it's something for every desire and taste, and we make our parks accessible to as many people as possible. We want everybody to enjoy them.
So talk to me about, we have a Grand Canyon. Yep. A lot of people don't know that. Talk to me about that park.
We do have a Grand Canyon in north central Pennsylvania, one of the most beautiful sights you will see, and in the autumn, one of the most must-see places you want to go to because the foliage is absolutely spectacular.
So if people are interested in seeing the leaves change and beautiful vistas, that would be a good park to visit?
That would be a great park to visit. It's near Wellsboro, the little town of Wellsboro, and of course, you know, a lot of what occurs because of our state parks and forests is an increase in tourism. So a lot of local communities look for people to come in the autumn and look at foliage and hopefully stop by, get a coffee at a little shop, you know, stop somewhere to eat. A lot of our towns depend on it. That would be a great place to go.
Or apples. I've been in Pennsylvania in October. Apples are big.
Yeah, yeah, apples are great. I love the local apples, and so it's a wonderful thing. And again, some people like to get out and hike and walk. Some people just like to drive through. It's all wonderful.
You know, sometimes the viewers are people who like to camp. Now, I know people who have RVs or pop-up trailers, or they're, in my own family, Boy Scouting's very big. So I know that the scouts that use the state forest. What kind of opportunities are there for staying overnight and really getting out there with nature?
Some of the greatest opportunities are in our state parks. If you like cabins and the more organized type of setting, we also have accommodations for the RVs and the people who sort of want to pull in, hook up, and then pull out. We also have what we call the more primitive campsites. So if you're still into tents and you want to sleep on the ground, we have those opportunities. So that you can find all those opportunities and the ability to reserve them on our state park website, which I hope everybody visits.
We're going to put that up so that the viewers can see it and go to that and get all the information. Now, suppose I have a family and I want to go either camping or stay in a cabin. How do I make reservations for a state park or something like that?
It's very easy on our website. You just go onto the website and go into the reservation system. It's extremely easy, so that I would recommend.
Great. Now, I know that Pennsylvania has been honored for the sustainability of its state forests, and they're under your jurisdiction as well.
Right.
Talk about what are the purpose of the state forests and what do we do with them, and what does sustainability mean in terms of the forest?
The FSC certification, which is the sustainability you talk about, means that we are managing our forests for the long term in a sustainable manner. And we have that sustainable management. We have that certification for a very, very long time. And the mission of the state forest is for outdoor recreation. It's for water preservation. I mean, we do a lot of, it does cleanse the water. One of the earliest creations of the state forest was for water protection. We also manage timber on our state forest.
People may be surprised by this, but there is some logging and timbering in the state forests.
Yes, we use it to manage the forests themselves. It's a very key management technique, and it's also a major industry in Pennsylvania. Because we cut to manage the forest itself, the health of the forest, we've heard from some of the smaller timber companies that they're in business, they can remain in business because of us. We're not just going by the market.
Let's talk about that. Cutting down the trees doesn't sound like a good thing for the forest. Can you tell us why it is?
It is. Our forestry people will tell us that it is the way to keep a healthy forest. They manage the forest, so they'll know what to cut when and where and why in order to keep the overall system very healthy.
And replant. And
replant, yes. We replant and we watch the species we replant. We watch for invasive species. They're always looking at the health and the management of the resource.
So really, wood is a renewable resource when you look at it that way.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, you say absolutely, but when you come from an area of the state like southeastern Pennsylvania, the suburbs of Philadelphia, people don't think of wood as a crop. They think of it as something permanent. But in managing the state forest, you do allow some timbering and replanting to keep the forest healthy, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, suppose I wanted to visit a state forest. Could I just drive into one?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Really?
Yes, we have roads that go through the state forest. We have an interactive map on our website that shows you the roads. It shows some vistas, some camping opportunities, some highlights that you may want to see in the state forest as well.
All right. Now, a long time ago, my husband hiked a portion of the Appalachian Trail. Is any of that in the state forest?
Some of it is, yes. Some of it is. We work very closely with the Appalachian Trail Conservancy to make sure that it's a good experience when they come through our DCNR lands.
Okay, good. Actually, though, hikers call Pennsylvania Rocksylvania because there's so many rocks here. But that's not something you can do anything about, right?
No. Our Bureau of Topographic and Geologic Survey loves our rocks, and we love our rocks too.
Okay. So what does DCNR do to let Pennsylvanians and people from other states know that there are opportunities, tourism opportunities, camping and hiking opportunities in our state park system?
We put a lot of information out there, both in social media and on the internet. We work closely with our sister agency of the Department of Community and Economic Development because the tourism offices are really housed there.
Do you have a Facebook page?
Oh, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have several Facebook pages. Actually, a couple of the parks have their own. I think a couple of the forest districts have their own. We do have a Twitter account. All these things that I just honestly can't figure out how to do.
It's not that hard once you get used to it.
But we do, and we have a very high active group that pays attention to our social media. And for people like me, we still have conventional maps, and if anybody would ever like a map, just contact us. I still like to pull out a map and look at it and see where I am in Pennsylvania, so we still have those.
All right, now if I'm living in Montgomery County watching this show and thinking, this weekend I'd like to go visit one of these places and look at fall foliage, what would you suggest I do?
Well, very shortly we will be putting out information that will be updated periodically and regularly on the best places to go. So we have the longest foliage season in the United States, and it'll start in the colder regions, northwest and northeast, and then start coming down to the southern regions of Pennsylvania.
So the leaves are going to change up where you grew up before they change where I live.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never knew that, but I didn't.
Yeah, we were at Kansas State Park last week in McKean County, and you could see they were already starting to change. I love fall, but after fall comes winter, but it's just astoundingly beautiful. And we will have regular updates for everybody that wants to go leaf watching.
All right, now another thing that lots of people like to do, and in our area they generally do it on the Delaware River, but is canoeing or kayaking and things like that. Are there opportunities for canoeing and kayaking in the state parks?
Absolutely, on our lakes. We also do little educational sessions if people aren't comfortable in a boat. We try to bring everybody, if you want to learn how to kayak, we have kayaks and some boats there. We even have handicapped accessible watercraft. We want everybody who wants to have that experience to have that experience.
Now, is it your experience that people are using the state parks and forests? Do you have any idea how many visitors you get every year?
We're at a 10-year high of about 38 million visitors.
Wow,
Yeah.
38 million people a year? But we only have 13 million in Pennsylvania to start with, so I guess we're getting lots of people from other states.
We are. It's a huge boost to our tourism industry in Pennsylvania.
And what do most people like to do when they visit our state parks and forests? Do you know?
They love to camp. They do love to hike. They love to picnic. And sometimes, you get the people going there for a day picnic, like I used to do when I was little. So they'll sit at the picnic tables and they'll go for a swim in our lakes. They'll kayak down some of the streams and get on some of the waterways. We offer a wide variety, and not only in the autumn, but obviously summer is peak months. We're doing more and more winter sports with snowshoeing and cross-country skiing. We actually have the equipment there. Sometimes local businesses will donate so that people can become interested in a sport they hadn't known before. So we're trying for the all-season
That's
interest
great.
here.
All right, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. Legislative Report will return in just a moment.
Did you know that Fort Indiantown Gap, located in Lebanon County, is home to Pennsylvania's only Veterans Memorial? C.J. Frederick of Westchester, Bucks County, submitted the winning design that now honors those men and women who have sacrificed their lives in defending this great country. Dedicated to the Commonwealth on October 7, 2001, the Veterans Memorial is surrounded by freestanding walls and houses an amphitheater, which can accommodate large crowds during an event. Strategically placed in the front of the amphitheater is a tomb that reminds visitors of those who gave their lives protecting the freedoms of this nation. The design suggests a war-damaged structure in which Frederick wanted to impress upon those visiting the horrific arena of war. Now you know.
Are we connected on Facebook? It's easy to add my legislative news and community updates to your news feed. My page is at facebook.com/RepKateHarper. Once you're there, make sure to hit like and we'll be connected. I give you updates from Harrisburg, talk about what's happening in our community, and try to feature lots of photos of the great people in our district that I get to meet every day. Plus, it's a forum where you can share your viewpoints with me. Facebook really is a great way to keep in touch. Again, my page is at facebook.com/RepKateHarper. Once you're there, hit like and we'll be connected. Hope to see you online.
Did you know that there are 6 ornate bronze chandeliers hanging in the House chamber? The 4 large chandeliers are estimated to weigh 3 tons each. Yet these iron and brass fixtures painted in 18-karat gold manage to dangle effortlessly. It takes 168 light bulbs to light the large chandeliers and 84 light bulbs on each of the smaller chandeliers. As you can imagine, changing the light bulbs when they burn out is far from easy. Workers must build scaffolding in order to reach their 1,450 light bulbs. Today, special, long-life, low-wattage energy-saving bulbs are used to lessen the amount of times that the light bulbs will need to be replaced. Now you know.
Did you know that Violet Oakley was the first female artist to receive a large commission for artwork done in a United States Capitol building? In 1902, Joseph Houston, designer and architect for the 3rd Harrisburg Capitol building, commissioned Violet Oakley to paint murals for the governor's reception room. He believed that Oakley's contribution would add interest to the building and act as an encouragement of women of the state. Prior to beginning her work for the Capitol, Oakley set out to England to conduct research for her murals. Upon return, she decided to center her artwork on William Penn and the founding of Pennsylvania. Oakley made sure that Penn's ideals of justice and peace could be seen throughout her work.
In 1906, she completed 13 murals titled The Founding of the State of Liberty Spiritual and was placed in sequential order around the governor's reception room.
These murals were some of the first to be installed in the Capitol. When Edwin Austin Abbey, another artist for the Capitol, died in 1911, Oakley was offered another opportunity to create murals for the unfinished Senate and Supreme Court chambers. Her work on the Senate murals, including International Understanding, was completed by 1919. Oakley then completed the Supreme Court murals, including the Divine Law, by 1927. Oakley is said to be the principal artist for the Capitol with a total of 43 murals on display. She remains one of the greatest muralists in the United States. Now you know.
Welcome back to the program. I'm State Representative Kate Harper. My guest today is Ellen Ferretti, Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. We've been talking about the many, many acres of state forests and state parks. So, Ellen, tell me, first of all, what you like to do when you visit a state park.
I really love to walk around, to hike. I've kayaked. When my children were small, we went to go swimming in the lakes. We see many, many people now hunting, fishing, all sorts of activities. So what I personally like to do is more of the hiking and water type of activities.
All right, now what's new in Penn's Woods?
Well, Governor Corbett's Enhance Penn's Woods initiative is absolutely fabulous. It's a 2-year, $200 million investment in our state parks and forests.
$200 million, wow, where's that coming from?
The bulk of it, well, a lot of it is coming from capital funding. There's a new infusion of Growing Greener 2 funds, no new borrowing. $45 million in the Growing Greener 2 funds that came into our park and forest system. And what we are doing with that money, staff has assembled a list of the must-dos to shore up the foundation. The foundation of our parks and forest system, it was crumbling. We needed things like new bathrooms. We needed some dams repaired. We need fire towers repaired. Things that may not be really glitzy, but people expect when they come to our parks and forests. They expect nice restroom facilities and nice walkways. So with this investment, we are really active. Building new campsites, fixing some dams, fire towers. We're also conserving land. So this initiative will, because I consider our infrastructure to be also our open spaces, will also allow us to conserve more acreage to our park and forest system.
So you'd be adding land, buying land?
Yes,
Right.
yes. So our staff is thrilled with this. We're getting a lot of work done.
All right, so I'm sure you've overseen some of these projects. What's happened so far, or what's about to happen in the state parks under this initiative?
As I said, we have some dam repairs going on. We are putting in new restrooms. We're building and fixing some visitor centers. We're, it all depends on the park. So at a park like Presque Isle, we might be doing some improvements to the marina because they have a marina.
Yeah, Presque Isle I've been to. It's outside Erie, right?
Outside Erie, yes.
On the Great Lakes?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
So for a place like Ricketts Glen, we're putting in more camping cottages. It's an array. It's an absolute array of projects. It's a very long list of projects, actually. So we listen to people all the time. What do they like? What do they not like? What would make their experience better? And that's what we go for. Number one priority, of course, being safety and visitor use and experience. So it takes the gambit.
So do most people use cabins if they stay for more than a few hours?
We get a lot of cabin usage. People love our cabins. So I don't know about most people. We have a lot of campers as well, but our cabins.
Campers who just roll out their sleeping bag and under the stars.
Put up the tent. Yeah.
Like the Boy Scouts. I have to say the Boy Scouts bring their own
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah, and that is still a very good traditional use of our state parks.
Now, could you use the cabin in the winter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, there are some areas that might get snowed in for a little bit, but you know, we obviously take care of our roads and all, but yes.
All right. Now, I know there is a new experiment, if you will, to go for something other than a cabin or sleeping under the stars, maybe a hotel or something. Do you have one of them in our state park system anywhere?
Yes, we have one nature inn at Bald Eagle State Park.
Where's Bald Eagle?
It's near State College, the center
Okay.
part of the state in Howard, Pennsylvania. And that was built several years ago for the experience of people who like to be outdoors and not really want to sleep on the ground so much anymore. It's sort of a step above camping cottages. So there's rooms in there, beautiful rooms. There's a beautiful conference room. There's
I have a
library.
sister who insists that camping must include a bathroom.
Well,
So does the hotel include a bathroom? The inn
yes,
include
it
a
does.
bathroom?
Yes, in
Yeah.
every room. Yes, it does.
In every room. Okay, she would like that kind of camping, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But many people do, you know, especially as we get older. I think it might be easier.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what we're also seeing that I find very wonderful is we're seeing a lot of bed and breakfasts pop up around our parks and forests, very unique private camping opportunities in cottages. And that makes me happy because it's actually spurring private industry to come forward and new jobs in the area, things like that. So there's lots of opportunities both in and near.
Our state parks. Now,
Right.
are the state forests different? Is there anything in the state forest other than trees and roads?
You can do some primitive camping in our state forests. In some areas we have little ATV parks. A lot of hunting, fishing, again, that's a different sort of experience. But in the autumn, there are some absolutely gorgeous roads that you want to drive on. And again, we will be putting out news releases, maybe telling people where are the peak foliage areas. So if you're in your car and you just want to drive through a road where you're just surrounded and enveloped by beautiful trees, we would have those opportunities as well.
All right, and so we're going to tell people to look at the DCNR website, Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. You can get to it from the Pennsylvania website, or you could probably Google it and find it that way too, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe I can put a link from my own website to help people out. So that would be good. Now, what are the plans going forward in Pennsylvania for the state parks and the state forests? You're working on any long-range plans other than the infrastructure, which you're updating?
One of the things that we're doing is what we call Kids in Nature. You know, we see all these statistics that children are just not going outside anymore. So we in Parks and Forestry do a whole lot of not just environmental education in a sort of formal sense. We do a lot of engagement in our parks and forests, and I wanted to highlight that. So it's not anything new. It's just elevating to a higher priority what we're already doing to reach children and their families. That's new.
Now, you're a mom, as am I, right?
Yes.
So this is designed for parents to go to maybe the website and get this information and use it to encourage their children to get outdoors.
Or vice versa. Yeah, and we're also seeing environmental educators use this, maybe some
Or children to
daycares.
encourage their parents to get outdoors. Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll tell you, we've done a couple events and children are getting outdoors. I am thrilled at the amount of, they're kayaking, they're hiking, they're biking, they're fishing, they're hunting, and they're just, sometimes it's organized sports, but that's okay. That's okay. So being a mother, when I'm with these kids, I said, you know, this is what the people are telling us is you don't go outside anymore. Prove them wrong, you know, and they do. They do every single time. We're very
Leave the
thrilled.
Game Boy at home, forget about it, keep going, right?
Keep going, yes.
All right. So I think what we have is a lot of assets that most Pennsylvanians don't know about, or at least most Pennsylvanians in the suburbs of Philadelphia don't know about. So how can I encourage the viewers of today's show to get out there and see the state parks and the state forests?
Well, for those so inclined to go on the website, again, we have enormous amount of information, very detailed information on every park, every forest, all the events. But if somebody just wants to get in their car and drive around, and you can, again, find the information on our website, or we can send out maps. But To know that within an hour's drive, you can see some of the most beautiful vistas, beautiful lakes, beautiful hiking trails. If you don't want to leave your car, that's fine. We have opportunities for that as well. To know that you can have an experience like that is just priceless in Pennsylvania.
Well, and I think that's a good place to wrap up. I think what we're going to do is just talk a little bit more about, if you can give me some statistics, how many acres there are, how many numbers, things like that, so that we can just end on that note so people realize what a big opportunity this is for them.
120 state parks, 2.5 million acres of state forests. There is something for everybody.
2.5 million acres.
Yes. Yes, there's something for everybody. There really is. And we make it our job to provide that information to anybody who contacts us. So the information, I mean, it's very readily available, and please contact us if there are any questions.
All right. Is there anything that you would like to add?
There was a former gentleman up in northeastern Pennsylvania, and he said it best. He was a former district regional forester, and he would just say, enjoy, enjoy. Get outside and enjoy it all. It just makes you feel wonderful what we have here in Pennsylvania.
Well, let me ask you that, because Northeast Pennsylvania brings up Governor Gifford Pinchot. Wasn't he the start of all this?
He was, yes, yes. Gray Towers and Pike County is where his home was.
And I've been to Gray Towers in Pike County. It's lovely. That's outside the park system, or is that in the park system?
That's a U.S. Forestry Service. That's national.
A national thing.
Along
and
the
that's
Delaware.
One of the ways in which Pennsylvania leads the nation.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do in conservation. Yes, we do.
As well we should, since the name of our state is Pennsylvania, which means Penn's Woods, right?
Yes.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's program. I'm State Representative Kate Harper. If you need assistance with any state government matter, feel free to contact me at my local office or through my website. You can also follow me on Facebook. The information will be shown in just a moment. Thanks for watching. Please join me again for Legislative Report.